Note to anyone coming to ride Moab. They say if you don't put at least 30 psi in your tires, you're gonna break stuff. They were right.
What's up, guys? This is Alex, aka the Singletrack Sampler, and I just got in a new wheel set today. We're gonna take this opportunity to show you guys how to swap out a new wheel set and set up your new tubeless setup on them. And so over here, I have laid out all the tools that we need. It's pretty simple. We need obviously the stands, sealant. Well, I use stands. It doesn't have to be stands, but you need your sealant to refresh for your new set of tires. Well, your new rims when you put them on. We need a cassette tool. We need a set of Torx wrenches for the brake rotors, and your valve stem for your tubeless setup, and a tire lever. And that's it. It's a pretty simple procedure. I'm going to walk you guys through it step by step as I do it. My bike shop that I worked for over the summer, Absolute Bikes, hooked me up with a really great deal through Specialized, who's getting rid of their 2016 carbon rims, which I totally did not think I was going to get. But the deal was just so good, I couldn't pass it up. So I got some Revolve carbon rims. Really nice, burly, wide carbon rims. And I'm pretty freaking stoked because I've never ridden a carbon rim. This ain't nobody got money for that. But these were just like a really, really good deal because they were getting rid of all their 2016 stuff. And the difference in the cost between like a decent aluminum set and these was like almost nothing. All right, let's take these bad boys out. Yeah. Oh my gosh, they're so light. Holy cow. So, before I put these on, I gotta take off my old ones. Let's do that. So, I got my rear wheel off, and now I need to take the things off of my rear wheel that I'm gonna transfer. When I take off my cassette, and when I take off my, especially the brake rotor, I want to make sure I can put it somewhere that's they're not going to get damaged, or they're not going to get anything on them. So I'm going to grab a little rag. These are boxers, and those will work. Okay, so I forgot to lay out one tool that we'll be using. It is my cassette tool. So I have the cassette, the cassette whip. But this is what you stick in the cassette while using the whip to hold it. And this is what I will unscrew it with. And there go my rims. I should mention, I'm 100% a new mechanic. Like, I am not a seasoned vet. I worked at Absolute Bikes. Those guys were kind enough to take this vagabond in over the summer and give me a job and teach me a ton. I learned so much. The two head mechanics there, Scott and Nate, they have like a combined experience of like 50 years of wrenching, and they were just phenomenal teachers. I am definitely still not a pro, but I know a lot more than I did. Okay, so we got our cassette off. Now we got to take off the brake rotor. When you're taking off rotors, always start them by hand when you're taking them on and off. Rear wheel is good to go. I'm going to put back on, I'm going to swap over my cassette, swap over my brake rotor. While I was waiting, I took off the front tire so I can get ready to swap those over. So yeah, let's do this. So when putting your cassette or your brake rotors back on, it's funny, the writing on your brake rotor always goes on the outside. That's how you'll know which way it should be facing. And always make sure you re-thread the brake rotor back in by hand. Do not start it with a drill. You'll strip shit. You want to put the bolts on in a star pattern. So what that does is like tensions it evenly around and just helps it get on nice and flat as opposed to just going in order. All right, so got my cassette, got my rotor back on. I'm gonna go ahead and put the brake rotor on my front wheel as well, and then we'll get into how to set up the tubeless. Okay guys, so a tubeless setup. It's relatively easy if you have all the right pieces. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this off, I'm going to air it out, and then I'm going to take it off and try to preserve the sealant that's in there so I don't have to use all new sealant because sealant's pretty expensive. I broke this core when I was trying to fix this wheel in Moab with Seth. It was pretty funny. He was standing on one end and I was just like pounding on the other side of the wheel trying to get it, trying to bend it back into place. Took him for a little ride. It didn't work, but we tried. Next thing I'm going to need is this tool wrench. I have a Pedro's. I really like them. Super thick. Alright, got it off. Run that all the way around. Okay, so I have quite a bit of sealant in there. Woo, spilling some. So I want to save that. So I'm going to be careful when taking it off. To anyone that BMX or rides dirt jumps, isn't it hard wrenching on a bike after hitting it hard the day before? Jeez. Okay. Got that guy off. Before I can put those back on, I need to get my valve stems in my new wheels. When I say valve stem, I'm talking about these guys. This is what you need for a sealant setup. Different ones for different wheels. I learned this summer that it really matters which one you have depending on how well your seal will hold. So you need to get, like if you have a Stan's wheel, you need a Stan's valve. If you have a Revolve wheel, you need a Revolve valve. It actually makes a difference. Okay, we're gonna start with the front here. So valve, my wheel already has rim tape. So I'm all set, it's tubeless ready. So just gonna pop the valve in. You do have to put this bottom piece on it. It's what holds these in place. On these, you don't wanna screw these too tight. I've had an instance where I tore the sidewall of my tire and I had to put a tube in my tubeless setup, but I couldn't get my valve stem out because I had taken this and tightened it with a tool. And the reason I did that is because I had the wrong valve stem in there, and I thought I needed to do that to make it work. But really, all I needed was the right valve stem, and you just hand tighten these. You don't need more than that. Super important. Okay, so we're ready for the tubeless to set up put my tire on. So I'm going to grab my front tire here. And I'm going to make sure that my tread pattern is going in the right way. So brake is on this side, tread pattern goes that way. And now I'm going to get my wheel on in here. So, okay. So I've got it on except all the spots except for just right here. And now I'm going to add a little bit more sealant. So some people will say that you want 2 scoops. Some people will say you want 3. I'll go 2.5. Alright, so on the Stan's caps, the top is actually not a full cup. There's a line here. That's the 1 cup. Throw that in there. Get a little splish splash on the rim. Got the sealant in there. Now it's time to set it up, put it all the way on, and then I need to air it up and get it seated. Trusty floor pump, and you generally need like pretty rapid inflation to get your wheels, your tires to seat properly. But we're going to give it a go. We're going to see what happens. I'm going to try to run a little low today, maybe like 25, 24. Oh, that was satisfying. That was the last pop. to make sure your tire is properly seated, it's wise to give it a nice go around, get that sealant really spread all over the place. If you hear some like hissing, that means the air is getting out at a certain spot. A lot of times it happens at the valve stem. So turn your valve stem to the bottom and move it this way. It'll bring all the liquid to this side, and then quickly tip it, and it'll throw it to that side, and then shake it around, and then it'll get it up and down all around the valve, and that'll seal the valve. That is generally the hardest spot to get to be sealed. But dude, man, this was super easy. This is a great one. All right, I think we're ready. I'm gonna throw her in. You can make sure that you got fully seated. If you take a look at your wheel or your tire, there's a little line around. If it's consistent distance from your rim the entire way around, you're good. All right, guys, that concludes the new wheel setup. Look at my baby. Oh. Woo. I'm super stoked to go rip her. Gonna go ride her right now, actually, over at Lunch Loops. Have that video out for you guys soon. Also, I hear you guys, you want to have a bike check. This was not the bike check. The bike check is to come. Let's see. It'll definitely be either this week or next week. But I'll take you guys through full bike run of my full squish and my dirt jumper. So yeah, stay tuned for that. All right, guys, thanks for checking out the video. Live free, ride hard, get stoked.
Yeah! Woo! That was not smooth on the landing, but I'll take it. Count it.